On this week's Most Craved.
You'll have been done about everything when you see an elephant fly in live action.
Derek Zoolander returns in France.
The Ghostbusters Cinematic Universe. Hey guys, welcome to this week's Most Craved. I'm Jenna Bush with Legion of Leia.
I'm Silas Lesnick with ComingSoon.net.
And I'm Whitney Seibold from Crave Online.
All right, so the first topic we're taking on today is the Ghostbusters Cinematic Universe that we are apparently getting.
I hate the phrase cinematic universe.
Yeah,
it makes me a little bit ill to think that they're trying to make this into a big interconnected dealy-bob.
Yeah, and so, all right, so we know we have the female-led Ghostbusters film, which everyone's really excited about. Sigourney Weaver saying she wants in, yes, to that. It's got an amazing cast, and then the day after International Women's Day, we get an announcement that we're doing a guy-centric one. Now,
let me correct you there. Not guy-centric. That's something that Deadline
I know.
article.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just it stars Channing Tatum.
Yes, and here's the thing. It's got Channing Tatum, who I love.
Okay.
It's got the Russo brothers on as directors. Also awesome.
Who did Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, so there's nothing about this that sounds bad. I just think that the timing of when they said it sort of undermines the Lady Ghostbusters, which now I have to call Lady Ghostbusters.
Lady Ghostbusters.
Instead of just Ghostbusters.
And I think that might be the new title, is Lady Ghostbusters.
Lady Ghostbusters. Ghostbusterettes.
Ghostbustettes.
I feel the same way that when Paul Feig came out and said, like, why should it be considered a gimmick when women are in a Ghostbusters film? It's the same thing here. Like, you can't say that, like, another Ghostbusters is... I understand the complaint, but as far as building, like, movie sequels, it's not like another Spider-Man film would hurt a Captain Marvel film.
No, I mean, I agree. It's not so much that I think that there's anything like weird or underhanded. I just think that maybe we waited a little bit for the announcement until, I don't know, maybe wait until after the movie's out. I just think
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
can we have this Ghostbusters first and sort of appreciate it as its own entity before we start building all these other sequels and interconnected movies around it? Plus, is the Ghostbusters universe really all that complex that we need parallel storylines that are going to eventually meet up?
Honestly, I'm a huge fan of the continuity of the old Ghostbusters expanding into the cartoon show, the real Ghostbusters. I'm happy to have a big
The real
weird
Ghostbusters
world.
Was the same universe.
Exactly,
Unless
huge.
there was an episode of the animated series which was about the making of the movie. So in the cartoon series,
the movie
was fake.
Right.
Whereas
yeah, and we should also say that part of we're not just getting this, we're possibly also getting a prequel and a crossover.
Again, prequel? What happens before they're Ghostbusters?
I don't know.
What is the interesting part of this story?
I don't know.
Well, we don't know. I mean, it's just a story that happens to be set
exterminators
beforehand.
who happen to be exterminators in New York who are going after ghosts.
Right.
You're done. That's a premise, and that's okay.
Yeah, and so, but they
By
have...
expanding this, I think you're kind of wrecking the simplicity of it.
That's kind of how I feel. And look, if you do it well, like I say all the time, if you do it well, I will go see it, and I think that's cool. But part of this is that they started, Sony started a separate sort of shingle called Ghost Corps with Ivan Reitman and Dan Aykroyd, and they're supposed to look into merchandising. Was also one of the things on there, which is hardly a surprise. It's not that I have any, because I think it sounds like a blast, and possibly Chris Pratt may be in it as well, which would be hysterical. I just think it's going to devalue because of the current climate that we're in and the way female-led movies are out there. It takes something away from it.
Can I ask this as a devil's advocate, though? Do you feel at all a similar feeling as some huge Ghostbusters fans might have felt when they heard that the universe was being rebooted with women?
I didn't particularly want it to be rebooted at all.
So
I mean, I think it's a great cast, and
I mean, they could be awful. These could be terrible movies, and we'll all regret
they could also be amazing. They could also be amazing. So. But yes, all right.
What they will lack is originality.
Yes, and I'm climbing off my soapbox now.
I don't know if that's even true. I mean, you have Drew Pearce writing it, who wrote Iron Man 3, which is I mean, sure, it's a comic book movie, but
it's one of the better screenplays from that series, I would say.
These are really talented people involved, and I have a hard time not getting excited for both Ghostbusters films.
I would rather see those talented people do a new thing.
Why is new better than something you recognize?
Because some of those things we loved before had to be new at some point, and I would rather fall in love with something I didn't know I wanted than just go back and see something that I already knew I loved. That's just my view as a critic. I would so much rather see Hollywood work and put more energy into creating a Ghostbusters for a new generation that's not Ghostbusters, that's not feeding off my nostalgia.
We don't even know if
I want
it is
new
that
nostalgia.
Yet, though.
I would rather have new nostalgia than old nostalgia.
Right.
I'm getting tired of the age of nostalgia. I want it to end. I want Disney to stop remaking things like Dumbo.
Dumbo!
Such a good segue.
Thank you.
We found out this week that Tim Burton is going to be directing a live-action Dumbo movie, which actually announced last year. It's got one of the Transformers screenwriters, Aaron Kruger, attached to provide the screenplay.
Live action, probably animated just with CGI now.
Because it's
you're not
difficult
going
to make elephants fly.
You're probably not going to have real elephants, maybe a few, but you know, if they're talking elephants, like in the cartoon show, they're going to do CGI elephants, aren't they?
Is talking elephants also hard to find?
Difficult to find.
Yeah, because
there's only one.
Actually,
He's got a
did
terrible
Dumbo
coke
even
problem.
talk?
No, I don't think
Dumbo didn't talk.
Yeah,
but
he did.
All the other animals did.
all the other ones did. Yeah, the mouse and the. But this, I don't know why this one. If you're gonna go like mine Disney history, I don't know.
Well, they've been mining the Disney princesses. We had Alice in Wonderland. We had Maleficent, which was the Sleeping Beauty story. Cinderella coming out this Friday, and already Beauty and the Beast has been put into the pipeline. Why Dumbo? That is a weird one to go to.
Well, because it's so cinematic. I mean, I've never seen an elephant fly with his ears on the screen. It's going to look interesting.
I have. I saw a movie called Dumbo.
Not in live action, though.
I suppose not.
It's their fourth film. It has some history with Disney. It's almost an original story. I didn't even know this until I was writing the story up, but it's based on a book that was only released in a weird format that doesn't exist in any form anymore. Was the basis for Dumbo.
Okay.
Yeah, I also don't know that maybe like with all the things that have changed with elephants and like in circuses removing elephants, like it seems like, I don't know, maybe unwise, but you know.
I kind of hope it's set in the period. I always thought it'd be cool to do a Dumbo sequel and have him in World War II used by the Allies to fight German forces. But
Silas, I would
Warrior
watch your
Dumbo.
movie.
Yeah.
the timing is perfect. It came out in 1941.
Something tells me Tim Burton can't do like an epic war film with a flying elephant.
But he should.
Speaking of his era, though, you know, Tim Burton's very good at sort of flattening out the era. You look at films like Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands. These don't really take place in the present. They kind of take place in the 50s. He can iron out the era.
Well, he's got a number
It'll be
of period
fine.
pieces as well, though. Ed Wood
Oh
is a
yeah,
period piece.
Ed Wood and
Sleepy Hollow.
Big Eyes, and he just gained his credibility back with Big Eyes. You know, after he had lost a bunch
I think
with all
the
of like a
notion
series
of
of these
credibility
bad
being
remakes.
a binary idea is so crazy to me. People have such
My
a problem
point-
with like,
my
what have
point
you
is-
done for me lately? And
Well, and that sadly that is the Hollywood ethos.
Yeah.
What have you done for us lately?
Yeah.
But Tim Burton was a very sort of strong artist, and then he did all of these a string of not very good remakes with stuff like Alice in Wonderland and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that aren't very good films, and people
I
didn't
like
really
Charlie and
like.
Chocolate. I think Alice in Wonderland is terrible, but
okay.
I actually
Who's
really
Johnny
like
Depp
it.
you're,
gonna
you're
play
the
in
one.
Dumbo?
He's going to play the elephant. He'll do it in motion capture.
Oh God. Wow.
And Bonham Carter will play his mom in motion capture.
Well, we should move on to Zoolander 2.
Zoolander.
Zoolander. Oh, you know they're gonna take that. Totally gonna take
Somebody
that.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you guys feel about Zoolander 2?
I'm happy for it. I think we've seen some weird. We got Dumb and Dumber last year, which was a sequel to a comedy coming sometime later, and it wasn't very good. I'm happy for it though. I'm happy to give it a chance.
Yeah, I love Zoolander.
Well, I think Zoolander is such a great character. Ben Stiller really created this unique cinematic thing that we can all sort of latch onto and quote. He's very funny, this sort of vapid, completely non-intellect of Derek Zoolander. I'm not sure what we're going to do about aging male models. That will have to be the theme of this because you know, Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson are older now. They can't play the young, sexy people. They're going to have to get younger models. But I think that will be just as funny about this guy who is sort of losing his edge, but he's just as stupid as he was before. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential for Derek Zoolander too.
I want to see him do Blue Steel.
Blue Steel.
Blue Steel, yeah.
I think it's a safe bet that you'll
I
get
have
that in
a
the film.
feeling
That he
that we will
mastered
get
it.
that. So, what do you guys think? Do you want to see more Ghostbusters films? The Ghostbusters cinematic universe. Sorry, I had to do it one more time. A live-action Dumbo and Zoolander 2. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Most Craved, and we will see you next week.